Happy Wisdom Wednesday, everyone. So this week's book of the week is a classic self-development book from 1959 called The Magic of Thinking Big, Acquire the Secrets of Success, Achieve Everything You've Always Wanted, by Dr. David J. Schwartz. Dr. Schwartz was actually a professor in education and marketing at Georgia State University. And this is a great book because it's one of those classic self-development books where a lot of research went into it and a lot of frameworks came out of it. Now, the big idea that he focuses on in this book is that the idea that if you focus and learn how to develop good thought habits and thought patterns, that'll allow you to magically think bigger and achieve the kind of things you want in your life. A lot of times I've told people that reality is a lot more subjective than we think, and within the province of the mind, anything is actually possible. And a big part of this book, and again, you need exercises like this, just like you need exercises for your body to develop your mind in this way of thinking, is that it's not about being able to see what is, but more importantly, what can be. And a big part of that is visualization. Even legendary football coach Lou Holtz said that this book had a remarkable impact on him, and it helped him develop his goal list and framework. And we all know how incredibly successful he was with his teams. Now, a few things I really like from this book, and of course I'm probably going to review this again, but for the lesson for this week, let's look at a couple of things. First of all, the 3 diseases of not being able to think big. Number 1, excusitis, right? You always find some kind of excuse. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not in good health. I'm not feeling well. I don't have the training. There's always going to be an excuse. And a lot of them are very legitimate excuses. But those are the things that are not going to be able to allow us to see through to our dreams, right? There are people, as you know from the great books of history, who were in concentration camps. They were slaves. They were poor. They were disabled. All these things. They did not use their current situation of suffering as an excuse. They used it as a way to empower them to get to what they want. The second thing is detailitis, right? Getting too focused on the nitty-bitty details, right? It's important to try and perfect things, but a lot of times perfection is the enemy of good, right? And many times we just have to get things out in the world. That's why in the startup world we worry and think about the minimally viable product, because we keep trying to perfect something. Sometimes it never ends up being realized. And the last one is procrastination. There's always a way to kind of drag our feet about things. But more importantly, and again, a lot of my videos focus on this, it's not about being motivated. Because you can wake up one day and maybe you've had a death in the family. Maybe you're not feeling well. Maybe you're hungry. You're going to lose your motivation, right? And that's how we end up procrastinating. The important part is how do you become disciplined, right? Very much like the great Stoics of the past, the great philosophers, the great soldiers, athletes, etc., the great writers. It all starts with being disciplined, not being a procrastinator. Now, a nice chapter of the book that I really like that I'm going to show you today are the key takeaways from being able to think and dream creatively. So, of course, with the magic of the internet, we're going to put up this nice little piece right here because my handwriting is terrible. So, the first thing is believe that it can be done. A lot of times people just don't have the belief. They put their goals in front of them, they focus on something, but they really don't believe it can be done. And a big part of believing is being able to visualize it. Because when you're able to visualize the solution, visualize the thing that you want, your mind will go to work creatively, subconsciously, to pave a way to that solution. And look, we can look at earlier works in self-development that probably influenced this book in its writing. Hold on. Pretty cool, right? If we think about the lessons we get from Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz and The Power of Positive Thinking from Norman Vincent Peale, the whole idea is being able to deeply visualize what that looks like, every single detail about it. Think about the last time you had a success in your life. Many of you saw yourself easily graduating from high school. It wasn't even a thought. You can picture it, you saw it, you knew it. You attached, more importantly, an emotion to it. So when it comes to thinking big, when we try to achieve these massive goals, not only is it enough to try and visualize what that looks like, but sometimes we have to go back in our past to a positive thing that happened then, pull that positive emotion, and then insert it in that future, in that visualization, because that's when we start making it more real, believing in it, and of course our subconscious mind will go to work in finding solutions for us to figure out how do we actually get there. And believe me, I've experimented and tested this many times. It does actually work. Now look, there's an important lesson that I do want to point out, and I'm just going to summarize a bunch of books for you. Let's go over to the bookshelf. Yes, I know, I could have just literally walked over, but the snapping's a lot more fun. If you look at a lot of books that we see in hypnosis, psychology, linguistics, right? They all say the same thing, which is essentially that the words you speak formulate the thoughts and your mindset, right? So again, I'm going to pull from the book words like impossible, won't work, can't do it, there's no use in trying. You need to eliminate this from your vocabulary, because the moment you speak those words, they're like little bits of poison, little poison pills that you're giving to yourself without realizing it, and limiting your ability to think, and obviously think big, right? Do you think Elon Musk had any of those words in mind when he decided to launch SpaceX, Tesla, and Solar City? Absolutely not. And we can look at some of the great people in history and in business. It's the same thing with them. Those words just do not exist, because the way you speak, this is why the First Amendment is so important in this country. Compelled speech, what we speak, the way we formulate words, is what ends up being the thing that formulates and molds our minds. Now, the next thing when it comes to thinking creatively and big is, don't let tradition paralyze your mind. Don't traditionalize your mind. Because once you do that, you're not going to be open and receptive to new possibilities, and nor will you be able to start scanning for them. If you traditionalize your mind, you start using the things that actually got you where you are today as a crutch, right? James Altucher has a fantastic habit, and again, everything needs to be trained and developed and nurtured. And his thing is ideas. Every day, like clockwork, he does 10 ideas a day, random ideas for books, ideas for blogs, silly ideas, dumb ideas. He has this thing called idea sex. You take two ideas and try and combine them. But the point is that if you don't practice training that idea muscle, it will atrophy, it will not develop, right? And try this, next time you meet with your colleagues, try and have a little competition when you guys have to brainstorm. This is why brainstorm sessions usually suck, is because most people do not train and develop this idea muscle. So of course it's not very productive. Be able to train your idea muscle daily, and more importantly, do not traditionalize your mind. Now, the next one is a really important one, and LinkedIn makes it a lot easier. Try and associate with people of all different types of backgrounds. And I'm not talking about just cultural, but let's look at it from the professional standpoint. Try and talk to people from other companies within your industry. Try and talk to people from other companies in other industries. Look for those people, and you can find them on LinkedIn, because usually there are people like me who are usually posting pretty often, engaging, etc. Reach out to those people. Say, hey, can I get on a Zoom call with you, and let's have lunch together through Zoom. I did that actually today with somebody. I'm doing it again on Friday. So during my lunch period, I Zoom with a new person. I try to do it every single day, because then it stimulates my mind to things that they're seeing and encountering in their companies, problems that they're solving, how they're solving it, and I try to do it within my industry and outside of it. Again, think about idea sex. I'm taking ideas from all kinds of places and combining them together. And these last two are really great things to do on a daily basis. First, ask yourself, how can I do better? Look, self-improvement is a process, right? There's no end. It continues to go on and go on and go on. You always have to find ways to improve. And always ask yourself, how can I do more? Look, capacity really is a state of mind. And so when you ask yourself, how can I do more? Your mind will go to work to intelligently find ways to actually shortcut things, to make things better. More importantly, ask yourself, what's maybe not important? What are some things that I can eliminate that I'm putting too much time on? Because if you think about it, success in business and really in life, it's a combination of these just two things. Do what you do better, so improving the quality of your output, and do what you do more, improving the quantity of your output. And you put those two things together, and you will see remarkable success in any endeavor that you're doing. So that's the book of the week. I definitely recommend it. It's really a classic. And again, I bought this book, as you can see here. It's pretty beat up, back in 2017. And so it's one of those books that you always have to go back to and remind yourself, right? That's why I encourage people, buy these books, physical books, and add them to your library, because you will go back to them in time, and they will serve a purpose for you, your loved ones, your children, your friends. That's the book of the week. Happy Wisdom Wednesday. Be safe out there, and as always, I'll see you next week.